Hey guys, I wanted to do an updated video on how to get more low-end power out of the 24 and newer YZ250F. I've got a lot more hours on this bike now, a couple more races, two new maps that I want to show you that make a big difference. This bike is an awesome bike, suspended very well, motocross or off-road. The KYB suspension is great. It's slimmer, it turns in nice. The only thing it was lacking, in my opinion, was low-end power. I know a lot of you guys were looking for more low-end power. Not everybody, I get it, but a lot of you were, I know I was, and I found it, show you how to do that for around 500 bucks. And the way this bike is set up now, at the crack of the throttle, it's very responsive. It pulls out of a turn at roll-on speeds, as long as you're not in too high of a gear, the power is right there. And it also still got really strong mid-range and top end. So I want to show you guys how to do that for around 500 bucks. This bike, the way it's set up now with the low end power, it is such a fun bike to ride. I love riding it. The only thing funner would maybe be like a 125, but this bike is super fun to ride. The other comment I get was, well, just you got to get a 450, man. Well, there's probably only one spot around a track where I might use 80% of the power that a 450 makes. I like to use all the power that the 250 has. I don't think I ever would with the 450. The new 450 is a great bike. I've ridden it. It's got a lot of low end power. It's super fun, but I'll stick with the 250. The other nice thing about having a 250 is I've also got a 250 two-stroke. And a lot of the races I do, I drive 5.5 hours to a race. Like with my 2019 YZ250F, the battery died one time. If there's an issue with the bike, I can just hop on the two-stroke because they're both 250cc displacements. And most of the races I do, they don't care if it's two-stroke or four-stroke as long as it's just a 250. So I can hop on this bike and still ride and race and not have to drive in 5.5 hours. So again, I love this bike. Let me show you how to do that for around 500 bucks. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, and it's weird because a lot of the early tests on the 24 250F, some testers slammed this bike for the power delivery that it makes. And I think they were testing it with the stock mapping, which is just all zeros. So download the Yamaha Power Tuner app on your smartphone and put in your year, and it should pop up immediately with the 3 Yamaha maps. So these are Yamaha maps. So I think they should have been able to test the bike with these maps. I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, it's a Yamaha map. So anyway, if they would have just thrown the hard-hitting map on there, it really makes this bike come to life. So if you're just running with the stock mapping, which is all zeros, download that, get the hard-hitting map on there. That really makes this bike come to life. Low end, especially, mid-range and top end. So that's a free mod you can do. Just, if you haven't done that already, go ahead and do that. These are the 3 Yamaha maps right here, these blue ones. Hard hitting's the best by far. Smooth linear is good if it's a slick, muddy condition. This one's okay as well. So that's a free mod you can do. I did try all of Kiefer's maps as well. He's got a Kiefer Free Feel 2.0, which I deleted. I didn't care for that one a whole bunch. KK Aggressive is one of his. His newest one is this Kiefer Torquey Free Feel. That's probably the best map that he makes, in my opinion. But still, out of all these you see on the screen, my favorite is by far the hard-hitting map. This response, I tried that one as well. This one's the best for sure, in my opinion. Try these others if you want. And then I've got 2 new maps on here now. I'll go into these in just a minute, and these are by far the ones that give the most low-end power. So let me, but right out of the box, try that hard-hitting map. So that's a free mod you can do. Get that if you haven't already done it. Second thing you can do is, and this is no secret, but vent the airbox, get more airflow into that airbox. It helps throughout the entire rev range, including low end. So get a vented airbox cover. This one's from Cycra. This is just a sticker that came with the graphics kit. This is made by Cycra. It's a vented airbox cover. It's got these plugs here. I've got them in because I just washed the bike. So whenever you wash the bike, it's nice because you can plug it off. Cycra makes this, then you can open it up. If it's a super dry, dusty, silty conditions, you can also plug it off. But this is 30 bucks for a blue cover, 40 for white. Not sure why white costs $10 more. You could get yourself a vented airbox cover. I like this one from Cycra because you can close it off when you want to wash the bike. I've seen guys drill like 17 holes in this cover. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But this one's pretty inexpensive. It's also vented on the back like the stalker. And this helps. This will make a noticeable difference doing just that vented airbox cover. That's number 2. So not too expensive. The third thing you can do, twin air power flow kit. Got that on here. I've actually got a different air filter on here right now. But I've got the twin air power flow kit on here. This is also a noticeable difference throughout the rev range. It eliminates the stock backfire screen, which is nice. It's an aluminum anodized cage that goes all the way around. And it does come with a different filter. This is not the filter it comes with. It's a little dirty right now. So just make sure when you're mounting this, you push this grommet all the way down on those posts, front and back here. Make sure you seat it in that slot really good back here. I like to go around and seat the foam all the way down inside this recess here, all the way around. And it also, with this twin air power flow kit, it seals a lot better. It still retains the rubber pull tab, but it also adds this bracket. So it's no longer toolless. You do have one bolt to deal with, but still, with this bracket right here, it really pulls the entire air filter down, and I feel gives it a much better seal. So you're not going to get sand inside the airbox down into your engine. This bracket mounts down inside this little flange here, just like the pull tab does, and it pulls that down. So this is a nice addition as well. That will help a little bit. That's by Twin Air. That's around 227 bucks. Okay, here's the actual Twin Air Power Flow filter. It's got the fire retardant backing. This is the one you're supposed to be using. I do use the alcohol-free no toil. I've used this filter oil forever. I haven't lit myself on fire yet with that other filter, but this is the filter you're supposed to use. I don't want to get into debate on air filter oil. I know how passionate people are about their air filter oil, almost as passionate about their 2-stroke premix and 4-stroke oil. I don't want to start that debate, but this is the filter you're supposed to be using. Next thing you can do is a guy by the name of Jesse at Williams Moto Works makes a adapter so you can utilize the 2023 to 2025 YZ250F airbox, which is a smaller, excuse me, volume airbox. You can get that airbox, that 450 airbox from any Yamaha shop for around 100 bucks. And then his adapter to be able to use that airbox is 150 bucks. You got to reach out to him on Instagram. That's Jesse at Williams Moto Works. He'll sell you that adapter. I'll show you that in just a sec. So with the 24, they got rid of the air ducts that were right here that went in and brought air into the airbox, which is another reason why you need that vented airbox, which slimmed up the bike. And they changed a lot of this. The motor's pretty much the same from the 23 to the 24, except for I think the timing chain got beefier. But the motor's pretty much the same. So I don't know if Yamaha was going for more top end power with the bigger, I'm not sure what the idea was, or if it's just because they slimmed up that upper section that made the airbox a lot bigger. But anyway, the airbox is a lot bigger on the 24. So if you use a smaller volume airbox like the 450 is, that seems to give you more low end power. So you do have to transfer over some bits and pieces from the 250 airbox to the 450 airbox. Not hard to do. I've got a video on how to do that if you want to check it out. And then let me show you that little adapter piece. So now that the airbox is smaller, you've got to use this spacer in here to take up that extra space. And it's this piece right here. It's a high quality piece. He did a really nice job machining this. It's got a O-ring built into it. The head pipe stay that comes here, this flange that comes right through here, he's got it recessed for that. So it's a really nice fit. It's like an OEM quality fit. So you'll need that adapter, about 160 bucks with shipping. You'll want to run that. That made a big difference. So with the hard-hitting map, the smaller airbox and adapter, and the Twin Air Power Flow kit, the bike ran a lot better. But it was not until I got the maps from Jesse at Williams Moto Works that it made a big difference. So let me show you those maps. There are these top two on here. Open this back up. So he will email you these maps when you buy the flange from him, or that adapter. And it's a file type that you can download right into the Power Tuner app. You do not have to manually enter the map like I did with a lot of these other maps, except for the Yamaha ones. The Yamaha ones pop right up. I had to manually enter these others. These two, you can just download it right into the app. He's got them 450 Air Boot Mod, Pro 6, and Sunoco. Those are the types of fuel I guess he was running. I am running non-ethanol 91 octane, so I'm not running race fuel, and they still work really good. I'm kind of leaning towards the Pro 6 on the top there, but they're both really good. Give those a try when you get that adapter. They make a big difference. So finally, I feel like this bike, by the way, Jesse tunes those on a dyno specifically for low end power. And he did a really nice job tuning those mats. They really, really made a big difference on this bike. I mean, it's just riding it, it feels, I don't even think about the power delivery anymore. It's right there off the crack of the throttle. And it's got a ton of low end power. So it made a big difference. So hats off to him for making those mats. So with those two mats from Jesse, the bike really came alive down low. Super responsive right off the crack of the throttle. And it actually still had really good mid-range and top end. The last race I did, long, sandy hill, I felt like this bike, I used all the power this thing had. I felt like this bike had an advantage over a KX250, KTM 250. This motor is super strong with those maps, mid-range and top end as well. So give those a try. So you're about 500 bucks. You've got the twin air power flow kit for around 227. The airbox cover, 30 to 40 bucks. And then those two pieces there, about 250. So 500 bucks gets you a lot more low end power. You will be much happier with this bike with those mods. I know I was. And then there's more expensive options you can go with. I'll just show you those really quickly. I have not tried these myself. I've just watched a couple videos on them. I was thinking about trying these down the road, but they are available. Quite a bit more money. XPR and Twisted Development both make a second injector kit, dual injector kit. XPR's retains the stock 250 airbox. Twisted Development uses the 450 airbox. They both come with a tuned Vortec ECU. So I'm sure those work really well, according to Kiefer and Jay that did a video on those. They look like they make a lot more low end power as well. But I'm super happy with this. That's the way the bike's set up right now for me, 500 bucks. I already spent a lot of money on this bike. I didn't want to spend a fortune more. Those are the key things that are gonna make a lot more low end power for this bike. I'll show you a couple other things I've done to this bike. By the way, on that airbox, I just kind of rigged up for my shop vac, a piece of rubber tubing and a turkey baster and a shop vac adapter to be able to suck out that airbox when you change out the air filter. So while you're in the garage or the shop, that's a good thing to have. If you're at the races, you can tip the bike over on the side, but you'll want to make sure you don't get a lot of sand down in that airbox. Just a quick tip for you. I did put a Q4 FMF exhaust on this bike. The main reason I did that is I was trying to quiet it down. This thing is blaring loud in the upper RPM range. It will hurt your ears. So I was trying to avoid wearing earplugs. I don't feel like this gave it a ton of more low end power until maybe I put the spark arrestor back in with a little more back pressure. Then I feel like it maybe quieted it down a little bit and help with the low end power. So that's something you can do, but I don't think it's super necessary. The stock exhaust still retains a lot of low end power. I was really just trying to quiet the bike down with that. Suspension wise on this bike, my 19, I had it revalved by a suspension tuner. This bike I have not. I think the stock suspension, I mean, the 19 suspension was really good too. I just had it revalved because the guy I bought it from, I bought it used, was a pro motocross rider. So, but this suspension is awesome on this bike. All I did was, I'm a heavier rider. I just got stiffer springs. I used Racetech's spring calculator on their website. This is the KYB spring in the rear from Technical Touch. Quite a bit stiffer than stock for my weight. And then I got some Racetech springs in the front. I think it's one level stiffer than stock. So get your suspension set up for your weight. Make sure you set your race sag. I'm about 105 on this bike right now. that will make a big difference. If you're around 155 to 170 pounds, you should be able to just use the stock springs, but check out that race calculator. Definitely want to do that. Set your free sag, set your race sag. This, I got some lower foot pegs from Pro Moto Billet. Well, they're adjustable. You can be in the stock position or low position. Fastway makes these. They're one of the few companies that makes a foot peg for this newer 2023 450, 24 250 bracket, foot peg bracket. And these are a good foot peg. I don't feel like in the low position they're a ton lower than stock. It may be because I have some washers to cant these up to get my knees closer to the frame, or my boots and knees closer to the frame. But I measured them, the stock pegs versus these, and they're not a ton lower. They do come back a little bit, which I needed because I wear size 12 boots. And I recently got some Tech 10 Alpine Stars, and I was inadvertently, they're really stiff when you're trying to break them in. I was inadvertently hitting my rear brake pedal a lot. So I do come back a little bit, which is nice. I did originally have the spike cleats in here, which were super grippy, but I trashed my Alpine Star Tech 7s. I had to send them off to Alpine Stars to get resold. They were so trashed. And I didn't have them on there for very long either. So I went back to the set screw cleats, and they're fairly grippy, not as grippy as the spikes. So those foot pegs work out pretty good. And another thing for ergonomics, this gut seat, it's the RJ wing seat. It's got a little bit of padding there to be able to grip with your knees. It's flatter. I got the plus 14 taller because I'm a tall guy. They also make like a plus 15 or a plus 25 and then like a stock. But that seat is super, super comfy. The stock seat is round on top, which may be a little bit better for turning better. But I like this seat for comfort. Couple other things, just talking about a couple little quick tips. I like to run a plastic chain guide as opposed to the metal one. If the metal one gets hit, it'll deform and then you're rubbing your sprocket. I always throw titanium nuts on my adjusters. I'll show you those in a sec up on the bench. So I always strip these out, just get them off eBay, get the right size, get the 12 millimeter. As far as gearing goes, I went back to the stock 50 gearing. Kiefer and MXA recommend a 49 sprocket. If you're a lighter guy or gal, give that a try. You're supposed to be able to run second gear a little bit longer with that 49 tooth. But again, I'm heavier, so I did try a 51, and I kind of settled back on the stock 50 for me. So I like that stock 50 on most tracks. Another quick tip is get yourself, where I ride, there's a lot of sand tracks. I got the regular tire on here right now, and then I've got a sand tire on my stock wheel. So get yourself an extra wheel. I got this, this is off like a 2014 YZ250F. Get yourself something off Facebook Marketplace. You can always find used stock wheels. I just tuned it up or trued it up a little bit. It's the 2.15 wide, which is what the 250 has now. You've got to be careful though. You can't use a two-stroke wheel because the axle diameter is different. So make sure it's a 4-stroke Yamaha wheel. And you can get those pretty cheap. And then you've got a spare wheel, which is nice. And then you can, I hate changing tires. Now I've got a sand tire ready to go. And that didn't cost me a lot of money getting that used. Those are most of the mods I have on this bike. So I didn't spend a ton of money on this bike. And it's a lot of fun the way it's set up right now. I've got some Cycra handguards. They go under the levers, which is nice. Arc levers are high-end levers. I love those. Pro taper bars on here. I do have a graphics kit that covers every square inch of plastic. The entire front fender, rear fender, swing arm, fork guards, and it retains the stock look. I just got it off eBay, and he'll do numbers for you. I have my regular numbers under this sticker here, and he'll put numbers on it and everything for you for like 170 bucks off of eBay. This company here, this whole thing is covered, so it protects your stock plastic. I think that's about it for this bike. Hopefully you guys give that a try, and you'll see how much more low end power you can get out of this bike and make this bike super fun to ride. Hope that helps.